Have you ever looked at a map of the eastern United States and noticed something a little strange? Let's zoom in on Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Over 26 million people call these states home. But here's the weird part. Almost none of their biggest cities are on the coast. You won't find a New York, a Boston, or a Miami-style megacity right on the ocean. Instead, the Southeast coastline, with its miles and miles of beautiful beaches, feels surprisingly empty. It makes you wonder, why did millions of people settle inland, leaving this prime Atlantic real estate behind? It's one of America's most overlooked geographical mysteries. Today, we're diving deep to find out why these major southern cities turned their backs on the beach. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? Where we explore the weird, surprising, and sometimes confusing ways geography shapes where people actually live. And trust me, this one is geography doing exactly what it does best. The empty southeast coast, the stretch we're talking about, runs along the eastern edges of Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. On paper, it looks perfect. Long sandy beaches, scenic barrier islands, calm-looking marshes, warm climate, but compared to the Northeast or even Florida, this coast never developed massive coastal cities. And that's not an accident. Barrier islands. Beautiful, but unstable. Let's start with barrier islands. These are long, narrow islands that sit just offshore. They look great on Instagram, but they're a nightmare for cities. Barrier islands shift constantly, erode over time, get reshaped or wiped out by storms. They do block some wave energy, which is helpful, but they're also too unstable to support. Major ports, large cities, long-term infrastructure. You can build a New York or a Boston on land that might move or disappear within a few decades. Salt marshes. The soggy problem behind those barrier islands. Miles and miles of salt marshes. They're beautiful. They're great for wildlife, but for cities, awful. Salt marshes are soft, flood-prone, full of shifting mud, and water channels building on them means massive costs, constant flooding issues, endless maintenance up north. Cities had rocky coastlines and deep harbors. Down here, the ground itself fights back. Hurricane country. Then there's the weather. Since 1990, 56 hurricanes and tropical storms have hit this region. Only Florida gets hit more, and that's because it sticks out into both the Atlantic and the Gulf. 4 coastal cities. Hurricanes mean repeated evacuations, destroyed infrastructure, sky-high insurance costs, constant rebuilding. That level of risk scares off investors, businesses, and long-term development. Why build a massive coastal city when nature might reset it every few years? Rivers that don't deliver. Now let's talk rivers. Yes, the Southeast has rivers. Savannah River, Cape Fear River, but they're not game changers. These rivers are shallow, twisty, often blocked by sandbars. Compare that to the Mississippi, the Hudson, the St. Lawrence. Those rivers powered massive trade networks. The Southeast's rivers, great for local transport, not global shipping. History shaped the pattern, geography shaped the economy, and the economy shaped settlement. Georgia and South Carolina became dominated by large agricultural plantations. Cotton, rice, tobacco. These plantations relied on enslaved labor, spreading people out across rural land instead of concentrating them in coastal cities. That legacy still matters today. Even now, the majority of Black Americans live in the South, and cities like Atlanta with over 2 million Black residents grew inland, not on the coast. When railroads and highways arrived, they followed those inland population centers. That's why cities like Atlanta, Charlotte, Raleigh exploded while the coast stayed quiet. Why the pattern still holds today, even with modern technology. The pattern hasn't changed much. The Southeast coast still struggles with weak natural harbors, erosion, and flooding storm damage. High insurance costs, so people keep clustering inland, reinforcing a settlement pattern that's been in place for centuries. So the Southeast coast isn't empty because people ignored it. It's empty because the land is unstable, the storms are relentless, the rivers aren't built for global trade, and history locked in an inland growth pattern early on. Geography set the rules, and the Southeast had to play by them. If you enjoyed this breakdown of one of America's strangest coastlines, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more geography mysteries coming up, including why places that look perfect on a map sometimes end up almost empty. Thanks for watching American Life Experience. I'll see you in the next one.